This is just one of many YouTube channels that I have blown up for clients and for myself. I have quite a few channels that I've done this with, and I've also got other people that I've helped manage channels, and we've grown channels to be insane. Now, how do you find YouTube video ideas that are actually successful? Because there's a lot of ambiguousness when it comes to finding the right idea. And is the idea that you find actually good? Because you've probably been in a time where you thought the idea was good and the video completely flops. Well, I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on how to know if that video idea is going to work, but also if it does flop, how to change its trajectory so that you can fix it. All right. So today we're going to talk about how to actually find viral YouTube video ideas. And this is part of my bigger course on YouTube Growth Accelerator. Feel free to check it out in the description. I will also be providing this document in the description below so you can kind of go over it yourself if you like. I'm going to go ahead and dive deep into this content. This is just a bird's eye view, so be sure to watch the end of the video because by then you'll be able to have a 3-step plan on finding winning YouTube ideas. You'll have a deep understanding of how to make a viral YouTube video, and also you're going to want to start now. Or it'll provide the strategies to your existing strategy so that you can continue to grow more on YouTube and find these good ideas. Now, I've also, like I've mentioned, taken my clients to great levels of success on YouTube. This is just one of them where they have generated $1,700 in just 1 week. And that was when I kind of jumped on board and took them up to $570 a day. It does dip down, but that's like YouTube, it fluctuates. But this was their first month of me helping them out. I've also helped with videos that make $5,000 per video. This is a slower burning channel or video, I should say. This one was a lot faster. So we can do either. This was more of the entertainment faceless YouTube channel. This one was a face channel, and it was actually one of mine where I provided a tutorial and helpful content to the audience. So, if you are serious about growing on YouTube, you also do want to check this out. There's going to be a lot more exclusive content, even though I try not to put as much content behind a paywall, because I think at least some basic strategies, everyone should have access to it. And even some of the deep knowledge that I'm going to provide in this video, you should still have access to. So I'm giving this away for free. So if you really like that, subscribe and leave a like. So the idea starts with finding winning ideas on YouTube. Now, you're probably not an alien to the idea that finding a successful video on YouTube is the inception to providing your own successful video. So for example, let's say you want to learn about a dual PC stream setup, and this is an old title, so it's pretty unoptimized. It's too long, but you can see how long this title is. But let's just say you want to talk about dual PC streaming and setting up a 2-computer setup, because often it's better than having one in a lot of situations. You kind of spread the load between the two. So let's say that's your passion and interest, and you find this video that gets 147,000 views in a year, and this guy has 47,000 subscribers or 44,000 subscribers. That's not too bad. So what you want to look for here is the view to subscriber ratio. You can see that over here it's 4 times. So 4 times the amount of views as subscribers, or almost. It's about there. Now you can click on this link if you want to watch it. I'm not going to go into that. But you can see that the views to subscriber ratio is 4 times. Now, generally, especially in saturated niches where it might be harder to get views, you want to find a video that gets maybe about 3 times the amount of views to subscribers that channel has. And you also do want to take into account if the views are real. So for example, some videos might be 15 or 30 seconds long and might have millions of views, but the engagement is terrible. They have very minimal likes, very minimal comments on the video, maybe even a low amount of subscribers. That's obviously bought views. It's not a good video to look at. It's not a good idea. If there are other videos that, meet the criteria and have good engagement, sure, maybe it is a good idea. But you want to watch out for paid content on YouTube. Now, having a video that's posted a year ago, like in this example, and you've got 147,000 views with 44,000 subscribers, that's not bad. A 4 times multiplier is pretty good. And like I was mentioning, in saturated niches, sometimes it might be more difficult. So you can probably take your threshold down to a multiplier of 3 times. So 3 times the amount of subscribers, which is a good rule of thumb. That's kind of on the low end. But also this does take into account who your video is for. So let's say your video is business to business. You are trying to attract business owners, which are obviously more often than not higher ticket clients. If your goal is to get clients, which it should be, YouTube AdSense shouldn't be your goal. Now, if that is your goal, then having a 3 times multiplier is not bad. If you do have a channel that has, it gets a lot of views, or sorry, if you're in a niche that gets a lot of views, then you probably want to aim for a 5 times multiplier. That would be the minimum. So here's another video within the same topic and niche 5 years ago, which is a bit longer, but it's got almost 800,000 views with 37,000 subscribers on the channel. So this video actually did really well, which is kind of surprising because it's just the thumbnail is extremely messy, but I guess it got the idea across, and that's really all that matters. If you can have a YouTube video without text and just this guy and these symbols, you know, that could work. And if it gets the same engagement and click-through rate, great. But if adding text is too much, in my opinion, but it looked like it still works, so great. Now he got a 21 times multiplier. So 21 times the amount of views as subscribers, which is exceptional. Even if it is 5 years old, it's still a really, really good idea. And it's still getting 2 views per hour, which is really nice. So views per day is 400 views a day, which is great. So 429 technically, but you can kind of see the point here. This is looking like a winning idea within this niche. Now that I've put this out there, people are probably going to try this and it's going to be extremely more saturated. But, you know, let's say that this is the idea you want to do. Okay, I found a winning idea. It's got a really great multiplier of here, 21 times views as to subscribers. Okay, so let's say I want to remake this. Now, I actually did do this, and you can see the video over here. Maybe I can even play it from here. That's kind of cool. If you haven't had a chance yet, I'm giving away an RTX 3080 Ti. Now, one thing I didn't do in this video is about 3 years old, so my whole YouTube strategy has changed since then, but this intro is, I mean, it's okay. Like, people who are doing streaming here are still going to be interested in a graphics card because you do need a graphics card for streaming. But my opinion is I would put this call to action maybe 2 minutes in or way later in the video. So this is something that I would not recommend. Make sure that you set up the video in the beginning, provide value, tease the audience, and just get straight into it right off the bat. Then maybe 2 minutes in, you can get like a call out once you've actually provided some value, given them a reason to stick around. That's totally fine. This has got an intro, which is a bit longer than usual. But then I kind of structure it where I have a hook after the intro, which it should be the other way around. So take note, I have kind of mixed up the order of the intro and the hook. So we're going to go more about that further down below. So here's where the hook actually happens. And this should actually be right at the beginning of the video. So let's pretend we haven't even watched the video. This is where we're going to start watching. Show you step by step on how to set this up, so please watch the entire video. It will show you how to do everything bit by bit. It'll show you how to get your video from your computer, your gaming PC to your monitor, as well as get it through your capture card into your stream PC. I'm also going to show you how to get your audio to your headset so that you can. So I know this niche very well, so I know that I'm addressing a problem that the audio has because they're trying to figure out how to get audio to their headset and to an external computer. And I'm also telling them how they can fix that while providing a solution. I'm also setting up what's going to happen in the video, so I'm kind of teasing them. Those are going to be extremely important when setting up a new video that is addressing a hot topic or an idea that you know works on YouTube. Your structure of your hook is going to be extremely, extremely important. So we're going to go through that a little bit more. But how does this actually work? How do you actually use this system to create the winning video idea? So let's run through that step by step. First, it's going to be helpful to have research tools. So I use vidIQ and I use keywords everywhere. One thing I don't like about Keywords Everywhere is that having a free subscription is basically useless. It's 95% useless. Even though it is a cheap subscription, you still have to buy the subscription to make it worth it. With vidIQ, you can use some of their free services with their platform and it works totally fine. I use the paid version, obviously, because it's so much better. And yes, this is an affiliate link. You can click it, I don't really care, or just Google vidiq.com. These tools are going to be extremely helpful. This one is not an affiliate link. You can click it if you want to, if you don't want to support me. So it starts with the ideation process. Now, this is going to be the most fundamental and important strategy when it comes to setting up the success for your video. Now, what we're going to do is start with the research. With your research, you're going to want to know what keywords you want to target in this video, because if you don't know what you're going to target, you have no direction. You don't know who you're going to market your video to. It's just not going to make sense to you. All right. So what I did is I searched dual PC stream right over here. How to set up dual PC streaming. I didn't even word it right. You can see the search volume is 0, which is totally fine. It's going to tell me that no one searched for that, even though I just searched for it, which is totally okay. Because the next thing that Keywords Everywhere does is right on the side of YouTube. So if I go to YouTube and let's say I search it, and I search how to get subscribers, what it's going to do on the side here, because I've got Keywords Everywhere installed as an extension, it's going to give me search volume. It's going to give me related keywords. So trendy keywords, how to get subscribers on Twitch, I guess. Interesting. On YouTube is really what I want to target. So volume is 12,000 searches per month. You can see right here, 12,000 per month. You can see other related search terms and keywords. Oh, those are trending ones. Here's related keywords. So you can see how to get subscribers on YouTube, 9,900 searches a month, which is pretty great. So this tool is going to be super helpful. So now I've found some keywords that I want to target. So OBS gets 2.24 million searches per month, which is insanely high. As it's a small channel starting out, you don't want to target the higher volume keywords. So 2.24 million search volume per month is too high for a new channel or a smaller channel. Let's say you've got 1,000 or even 2,000 subscribers. This search term is just, it's too saturated. You're not going to get above those 2.2 million search volume recommendations from YouTube. You're going to basically be competing with videos that are already addressing this. It's not going to be good. Elgato also gets a super high search volume. That's also really high. I wouldn't suggest going for something this high with a smaller channel. But how to set up OBS. So 1,300 searches per month. Let's say that your video is better than all the competing videos. YouTube's going to start recommending it at the top, and you're going to get at least 1,300 impressions on that thumbnail per month. That's actually really good, especially for a small channel. Again, 90,000, that's also pretty decent. Capture card. Streaming setup, that's also really good. That's a really great keyword to target. So those are going to be pretty straightforward. You don't want to go for the higher ones. You can also obviously see a bunch of other ones related here. What you can also do is when you search that keyword, if you go to find YouTube keywords for how to get subscribers in the extension is going to do its work, find related keywords. It's going to tell you its ranking and everything. So it's going to be super helpful. And I actually mentioned that further down here. It'll give you the maximum views for a video in that niche. So for example, I have ranked the top as the top channel in this particular niche. So dual PC stream tutorial. You can see that average age of the video is 2 years. Average views are 137,000. So you can tell that I've posted 4 videos because I realized that the idea works. So I, kind of milked it and just put more content out there. So now the second thing that you want to make sure you do properly is the design. After the search, you need to make sure that you know how you're designing it, because if you don't see this idea working on its inception, there's no point in even trying to continue to address this topic. So for example, you want to have some title options and you want to have a thumbnail design. Preferably, you want to have more than one. I've only got one here as an example, but you want to have at least 3. The more, the better. But 3 is going to be a good general rule of thumb to test ideas and to test thumbnails, just to even see if it works. Now remember to zoom out so that it's small and kind of take a step back and make sure that you can actually see what's going on with it being small, because that's what it's going to look like on YouTube. Got some title ideas. Usually I'd have about 10 of them, but 3 will work just fine just for the example. Now, as I mentioned, the hook. The hook is going to be extremely important, and I'm going to be detailed about this section because you need to make sure that you get the hook right. If you don't get this hook right, your audience is going to click away. You're going to see your view duration go down. The first 30 seconds of your video is extremely important because once the viewer has seen the thumbnail, because their eyes first go to the thumbnail, then the title. Once they see those and you get the click, now you have to convince them to stay. Convince them to stick around. So your hook is going to be extremely important. I don't even call it the intro. Your intro is completely different. Your hook is going to be your first 3 sentences that you talk about, right? So it needs to be clear and simple. If you haven't even looked at the title or the thumbnail, so the audience needs to know what your video is going to be about, even if they haven't seen the title or thumbnail. Because often it has happened to me. I've clicked on a video and I actually forgot what I clicked on in the first 10 seconds. So having a clear and concise hook in the beginning is going to be super important. So your first 3 sentences is going to be extremely important. Like you saw in this video, I mentioned that I showed social proof, and I also proved the fact that using the methods in this video are going to get you results. And I showed you that graph. Like, that's how I got your attention. That's why you're still watching this video. Don't ask for likes, subscribes, or comments yet in the first, I would say even first minute, because you haven't given them a reason to. At this point, there's no reason for them to like, comment, or subscribe. It's a vain metric at the same time. You don't get money from subscribers. You don't get money from likes. You don't get money from comments. And YouTube doesn't see those engagement factors as significant enough factors to go, oh, they left a like. I'm actually going to recommend the video even more. That's not how YouTube does it. They take them as a whole and takes that into account when recommending content. But the biggest one, and you've probably heard this to the point where you're beating a dead horse, is that watch time is key, and that's where your hook is going to be extremely important. So if you get your audience to watch the first 30 seconds, that is when they've decided if they're going to watch till the end of your video. Now, a goal for retention in the first 30 seconds is going to be about 80%. If you can get 80% retention within the first 30 seconds of your video is golden. You will continue to get views. You will continue to get recommendations. YouTube's going to continue to put your video into suggestion, and you're going to continue to grow. I have seen videos that get more views with lower retention in the first 30 seconds. So I've seen videos as low as 40% retention still make it and get a huge amount of views. So there are exceptions to this rule, but a general rule of thumb is to target 80% retention within the first 30 seconds. So these 3 steps are going to be, crucial to your setup. Now, there are some rules to this, and you need to make sure that you avoid some of these or follow these, because if you don't, you will 100% fail, guaranteed. Now, the first rule is don't copy the title. So you found that video on YouTube that works, the winning idea, right? Now you want to copy it or steal the idea, but you want to make sure you take ideas from multiple videos and multiple channels so that you can essentially create a hybrid. If you blatantly copy the title and the thumbnail, it's just not going to work. So both of these 2 points, you need to make sure you don't copy the thumbnail or the title, because let's say your video is better than that idea that you found on YouTube, right? Let's say your thumbnail or your video gets recommended right next to that competitor. I call them competitors, but they're really, you want to get recommended after or before or around that video somewhere, because that's where you get your views. But let's say your competitor shows up next to your video, right? If you copy the title and the video basically the same, obviously your face is going to be different, but the layout, the title, and everything's the same, the viewer is going to click on the video with the most views 9 out of 10 times. More than that, because they don't care about a YouTube video that has 100 views whereas the other competitor has 100,000 views, right? They're always going to click on the video that has the higher social proof. So don't copy the title and thumbnail because it's just not going to help you. And ultimately, step number 3, or rule number 3, I should say, is make sure your video is better. Let's say the audio quality on the video you found on YouTube, the winning idea, is terrible, right? Make sure you have a better microphone. Same thing with video quality. What if it's the content, the actual meat and bones, or the meat and potatoes, I guess, of the content is not as great and you feel like you can do better? That's also great too. If you can combine all of those, that's even better. So general rule of thumb, you need to make sure that you follow those 3 rules. Now, here are some real world examples. This is actually very similar to the topic up top where I spoke about dual PC setups and, all that stuff. So here's what happened. The first video I tried, it got 355,000 views. A lot of views, especially early on. It kind of popped off and at one point was getting a lot of views per day. Now, obviously, it's died off a lot since then, and I know why. It's just because the quality and the content was lacking. It was a short video. It didn't really provide a whole lot of stuff. There was a lot of questions unanswered, but it still made $1,000. I mean, I'm not going to sneeze at that. But so I saw that this video idea worked. It was getting a lot of views, and today, 4 years later, it's still getting 14 views a day, which isn't much, but 4 years later, that's pretty good. Now, keep in mind that when I did the second one, it did take time to grow. It took time to kind of shoot off. And I mean, just to show you that these are real numbers, here are the videos. And you can see right here, it did take some time to kind of gain traction. So, first 30 days, I only got 4,000 views. But once it was 80 days in, it really started to kick off. And I mean, made me, almost $5,500. But the idea worked. I realized, oh, this video is good. I noticed the problems that it had. So the quality of content, the amount of the content, but also just the clarity of it just didn't quite work. It was also very short. So I wasn't able to, put as much information in there. It was about 5 minutes as opposed to, I think the other one was 19 minutes, the newer one. It still gets 360 views per day 4 years later. So still 360 views doesn't sound a lot, but 4 years later, it's pretty good. So now with this first initial idea, you want to make sure that when you're finding these ideas, is it newsworthy? Is it catchy? Is it trendy? Because there's a thing called trend jacking, which you can also take advantage of. It's time sensitive. People are interested in it right now. I've done things like that where I found a trending topic within a niche and gained 500,000 views in the first month because it was interesting on a nobody channel, right? Does this idea have content and is it good? So for example, this video was not, and I realized that after the video went up, and that's why I fixed that. Does this video have a high to view subscriber ratio? So like that ratio I was mentioning, is it getting at least 5 times the amount of views as subscribers that channel has? Then it's a pretty good idea. So I addressed those in this video, and now what I want to do is address if I actually want to continue to milk this idea. So see how it performs, take into account the metrics, how do the viewers react to it, and react accordingly. So what did the audience like or not like? You can look at your viewer retention, see where they kind of go up and down. You can actually see in this video where it went up and down. So see what they like, see what they didn't like, see where they dropped off. You can't actually see it. If I hide my screen here, you can see where it went up and down, right? So viewer retention is going to be extremely important. See what parts of the video worked, like right here, and what parts of the video didn't. So sort of down here where this dip happens and here. So those are going to be super helpful in understanding what your audience wants and what they don't want. Then just keep those, high retentions where those hills, keep that content in your new video and just make content on those, because that's obviously what works in the video. And just, there's going to be multiple ups and downs in the YouTube video. Just, basically cut those pieces out, that content, and recreate that video with just that in. And then you're just going to start getting viewer retention graphs with almost no drop off. And that's what YouTube likes. So let's take a look at a second example. this was a gaming niche, so this isn't going to be as viral. It's also a very small niche. Dying Light 2 is not a big niche. Well, I mean, it's still got millions of viewers, but it's still small considering to what a lot of niches are into. So take that into account. It's not going to provide as much views in some cases. But for example, let's say this channel is directed towards a business to business client. You want to get clients that are businesses. Getting 128,000 views is exceptionally good, especially if 5% of those click on your link in the video description and you convert 1% of those. That's still a lot of people to business client, right? So the first idea was, basically how to get specific guns in the game. But the video was long. It was about a 45-minute video, and the real juicy content was either just a little bit in the beginning and a little bit at the end, and the rest was just gameplay. So, but I still saw that the video was performing really well considering the topic, and it was also a bit news sensational, so that also worked. So then what I did was I went to the retention graph and I looked at and saw where the audience was enjoying the video and where they weren't. And then I basically just copied and pasted the content from that video, put it into the new video, and this new video popped off even more and got a lot more attention. So that's how I was able to get more views and basically see if a video idea works. Now, I didn't use a pre-existing video on YouTube in this example. I just made the idea because I thought it would work, and I did the research to see, are people searching for this topic? Is this a time-sensitive topic? Is it newsworthy? Am I going to be able to provide value, solve a problem for people? Am I going to be able to provide the value to help solve that problem for people? Because if there's a problem, you can address that problem, right? But you also need to make sure that you get the people searching for that. So if you're using, keywords everywhere, or if you're using vidIQ, you can search keywords here. Really, really helpful tool. So you want to see what people are searching for and then base your video ideas off of that. So I created my idea here, and then I realized, okay, I validated the idea and said, okay, this works. So I recreated it even better. And that's what makes a successful YouTube video idea. And frankly, a viral YouTube idea. I've done this with many channels in the past and very recently too. So it still works just like it did 3 years ago, 5 years ago. Now, if you did find that helpful, you probably will find helpful how I find or how I grow YouTube channels fast. So you probably want to check that out. The video on screen is going to help show you how I find these YouTube ideas fast and how I grow these channels fast, because I've started channels that I've missed out on $10,000 in the first month simply because I monetized the channel so quickly that it takes 2 weeks for YouTube to validate the earnings and actually start making money. So check out this video right here, and that's going to help show you how I do that. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.